So I'm with Congressman Eli Crane at a very special event here in Prescott at Bucky's Resort and Casino. What a nice place to hold an event, Bucky's Casino. I mean, I guess if the speaking doesn't go over well, we can all go next door to the casino. That will probably cost me. Congressman Crane, Eli Crane, is our representative in Congress in Yavapai and down south a little ways. And he's holding a special event this evening. And he's got Congressman Paul Gosar and Congressman Andy Biggs and Matt Gaetz.
Congressman Matt
Gaetz all showing up. And then I heard Charlie Kirk's going to fly in here in the last few minutes or so.
Yeah, Charlie's going to commentate the panel that we're doing. It's an awesome cast. I'm super excited for it. And it just kind of reminds me of being in the teams, Lyle, and that, you know, your friends and, you know, people that you look up to and, you know, are brothers to you fly in when you're facing adversity. And, you know, that's what this night is about, you know, beating back the swamp. As you know, Kevin McCarthy has sent somebody to challenge us in our primary. I don't think it's going to happen. They're going to have to work a lot harder than this to get rid of me, but it's going to be a great night. And I know it's going to be a packed house, so we're excited.
Well, you know, Congressman, it's going to take a little work to get rid of him because he's responsive to the people, to we the people. Now, I could be in trouble here, and you can have a congressional hearing on me, but I don't think he sees himself as this big, prestigious, pretentious congressman. I think as I see you, and I met you before you even ran, you'll remember, and we talked on my show, my other show, Arizona Today. What I was moved by is your servant leadership. And I have to tell you, that's what I'm seeing in Congress with you. When you're at committee hearings and other places when you're speaking around the country, I still hear the servant leadership in your heart. And we don't have very many servant leaders, in my opinion. Has that been a surprise to you, going to Congress and seeing the swamp face up the way you have?
Well, you know, it's been great, you know, and going into what you're talking about with servant leadership, you know, I think it's important to stay humble and just remember that, you know, you're not anything special. And I think God created us all equally. We're all image bearers of God. And, you know, when you remember that, you stay humble, I think it makes it a lot easier to represent the people because you're more relatable to them. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't really like being around politicians that just are uppity and they think they're better than everybody else. And, you know, if you're going to serve we the people, it helps if they see you as relatable. And, you know, I hope that that's how they see me.
I think that's true, Congressman. I think in your district here, as we travel northern Arizona, a little bit of southern Arizona, the people do say that about you. And the reason I'm saying that is because the last 2 years has been just horrendous with what's gone on and the change in speakership and how you have stood your ground, I'm sure at great cost, to put God first, this nation second, your career third or fourth or fifth. Yeah. And I don't think people are used to that. We've gotten away from that. And you have stood your ground. And people in your district know this. That's why I think this room this evening is more than sold out. This room seats 645. I've done the research. And there's over 750 people waiting to get in.
No, it's an honor, Lyle. And I knew that I wasn't anything special. I knew that, you know, I knew that the only reason I ran was because I just felt like there was such a lack of moral courage in Washington, D.C. And with as many weaknesses as I have, it's one of the few things that I know that I'm good at is stepping up for the team when I'm needed. And that's what I did in my military career. I dropped out of school my senior year in college the week after 9/11. And, you know, it's been such a blessing and an honor. But I think in addition to all the folks that you talked about that are going to be here tonight, I think it's a reason that my friend Matt Gaetz flew all the way from Florida to be here today. It's the reason that Charlie Kirk got in a car drove up here today, it's a reason that Congressman Gosar, who just walked in the room,
just walked in.
You know, he came out, Congressman Andy Biggs, et cetera, because they want to make sure that they know there's not a lot of fighters in Washington, D.C. You can count the fighters on a couple hands. And so they want to make sure that we don't diminish in number, but we grow and we hold on to the fighters that we do have.
Now, I'm going to ask you a difficult question. You know me, I don't do tricks, I don't gotchas and all that. But with your chief of staff and everybody around who probably not going to allow me to get to my parking place after I ask this question, just joking. The audience goes, really? No, everybody. But I am going to ask you a tough question. You have now a couple of years under your belt in a very contentious place, Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Why are you running again?
Yeah.
Off the record, in a way. It's just us here. Not placards, not your campaign. From in there.
Because the work's not even close to being done. I mean,
what is that work?
I mean, look at what's happening right now in this country. The former president of the United States has, been prosecuted and is, has been looking at close to over 700 years in jail. We've gone from a country that you and I grew up in where we were free. We had so much opportunity. Everybody wanted to come to this country because of our freedom, to now one political party is starting to try and jail their opposition. And it's not just President Trump. It's Steve Bannon. It's Peter Navarro. It's Mark Meadows. It's so many people that they're going after. And so when I look at the landscape and the trajectory, I say, hey, babe, to my wife, hey, can I?
He wasn't talking to me.
Are you okay if are you okay if we run again and we continue to do this, because the work's not done. It's not even close to being done. And so, I don't really enjoy flying to Washington, D.C. and flying back every week, Lyle. I miss a lot of time with my kids, but I do love this country, man. And there's so many people that fought for it before me and you. And I want to make sure that, their fight, their blood, their legacies aren't in vain, man. If this falls on our watch, it's our fault, nobody else's.
I'm going to let you go because there's a lot of people waiting to shake your hand and say thank you. Now, I'm going to go to his house and knock on the window all night until he says he's going to come back on the show, so we have time to talk about a number of things. He'll just tell me to go away. I'll come. I'll get on. Go away. But I know there's a lot of people waiting to talk to you tonight, so thank you for taking a few minutes out. Congressman Eli Crane from Arizona is sharing, and I'm going to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, and you correct me. I'm serious. I got to meet him before he even announced for Congress. And we talked privately on a couple of occasions before he was interviewed more formally on my shows. And I have to share with you that our first conversation, I was in a parking lot in Skull Valley because there's dead zones. And if I moved, I would disconnect from you. Right. And for 45 minutes, I listened to this man talk about his heart, this country, his service to this nation. And for the last good couple of years, I haven't seen it, Dwayne, I haven't seen it waffle in any way, Eli. I've seen you and heard you speak from your heart, and I'm sure it's cost you. I'm sure it's cost you in the swamp because they couldn't manipulate you.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's been a blessing. And when we come back to Arizona, that's when it's so worth it. And it's been an honor. We'll see what happens. I think we're going to get an opportunity to serve this great, this great district again. And I think tonight's going to be a great night. And Lyle, thanks for coming and thanks for having me on your show.
Well, thank you. This has been Congressman Eli Crane. I'm Lyle Rapacki for Yavapai Speaks.